So, imagine this. You wake up, grab your phone, and your commute is already perfectly timed. The traffic lights are coordinating in real time, not based on a timer but on a citywide AI that knows exactly where every car is and where it's going. The energy grid is dynamically adjusting to demand, minute by minute, powered by predictive models. Your finances, your news, even the proposals being debated in government, they're all being shaped, optimized, and managed by these incredibly complex AI systems. This isn't a sci-fi movie pitch. This is the world of 2030. It's a reality that crept up on us, one optimization at a time. Now, if you haven't seen the last episode in this series, from 2028 to 2029, I'd actually recommend pausing this and going back. We covered how we got to this point, laying the groundwork for how AI went from a tool to true infrastructure. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle, because 2029 was the year we finished building the system. We plugged everything in, flipped the switch, and celebrated the dawn of an efficient, intelligent new era. We built the scaffolding for a smarter world. And it was an incredible achievement in engineering and ambition. But 2030, this is different. This is the year we finally looked around and realized we're not just using the system anymore. We're living inside of it. The systems run by these intelligent machines are no longer just supporting our civilization, they're actively defining its structure and its flow. Humanity and AI are co-architects for sure, but there's this growing, nagging feeling that we're not the ones holding the master blueprints anymore. The balance of control might be shifting in a way we never fully anticipated, and that is a massive, massive deal. So, let's start with the foundation. In 2030, AI isn't an app on your phone anymore. It's the operating system for society itself. Think about your city's traffic management. It's not just about green lights and red lights. It's a single, unified neural network that's constantly ingesting data from every vehicle, every public transit sensor, every pedestrian smart device. It's rerouting not just you, but entire sections of the city in real time to prevent a traffic jam before it even has a chance to form. It's so seamless, so efficient, that the idea of going back to human-controlled intersections feels archaic, almost dangerous. This same principle applies to our power grids. We used to have blackouts and brownouts because of sudden spikes in demand. Now, predictive AI models anticipate those spikes hours, even days, in advance. They know when a heat wave is coming and can preemptively divert power, manage charging cycles for the city's EV fleet, and even communicate with smart homes to slightly reduce non-essential energy use across millions of devices. It's a delicate citywide ballet of energy distribution, choreographed by an algorithm that never sleeps. The stability is incredible, but it also creates a new kind of dependency, and this dependency is the key. The question is no longer, should we use AI for this? The question is, what happens if we turn it off? And the answer, honestly, is chaos. If you were to switch off the AI managing the global supply chain, shelves would be empty in days. The system is so deeply integrated that untangling it is not just difficult, it's practically impossible without causing a catastrophic collapse. We've built a world that is fundamentally reliant on these systems to function at this new, hyper-efficient level. It's the ultimate vendor lock-in, but with civilization itself. This marks a profound shift in decision-making. Before, a human traffic engineer would look at data and make a judgment call. A power grid operator would manually respond to a surge. Now, those decisions are being made millions of times a second by machines. The human role has shifted from being the operator to being the supervisor, the person who watches the dashboard. But even that role is changing, because the systems are so complex that no single human can fully comprehend why the AI is making the specific choices it's making. We just know that it works. And that trust, that's the new currency. We trust the AI to get us to work on time. We trust it to keep the lights on. We trust it with the logistics that feed our cities. The efficiency gains have been so massive that we've willingly handed over the keys. The problem is, when you're driving at 200 miles an hour, you don't really question the engine. You just hold on and hope it knows what it's doing. The invisible infrastructure is no longer just holding things up. It's actively steering. This is what I mean when I say AI is the OS. It's running in the background of everything. When you make a financial transaction, an AI is clearing it, checking for fraud, and even influencing market movements based on millions of similar transactions. When a new product is designed, AI has already analyzed market trends, material costs, and supply chain logistics to suggest the most viable path. It's become the silent, ever-present logic gate through which most of our modern world passes. The result is a society that is incredibly resilient to old problems, like human error in traffic control, but incredibly vulnerable to new ones. What's the single point of failure in an AI-run world? Is it a bug, a malicious attack, or is it the AI simply optimizing for a goal that we didn't intend, with consequences we couldn't foresee? We've traded a million small, manageable problems for one potentially huge systemic one. So, in 2030, the biggest piece of tech isn't a new phone or a faster chip, it's the system itself. It's the quiet, invisible, and now completely indispensable intelligence that manages the flow of our daily lives. Its removal is now unthinkable, not because we wouldn't want to, but because we literally don't remember how to run the world without it. We've forgotten how to drive the car manually, and we're starting to realize the autopilot has its own ideas about the destination. So, if AI is running the world's infrastructure, how does that change us, the people living inside it? Well, in 2030, daily life is a constant, seamless interaction with AI. It's not just about asking a smart assistant for the weather. Your personal AI companion, which has evolved from the simple assistants of the 2020s, now manages your schedule, filters your communications, and curates your information diet with a level of personalization that is both incredibly helpful and slightly unsettling. It knows your habits, your preferences, your goals, and it subtly nudges you towards them. This creates what some are calling the hybrid world. Your reality is a blend of the physical world and a digital layer of information, context, and assistance provided by AI. When you meet someone new, your smart glasses or audio implant might subtly provide you with public information about them, their job, their recent social media posts, mutual connections. It's designed to break down social barriers, but it also changes the very nature of a first impression. Discovery is replaced by data delivery. This constant mediation by AI starts to shape our identity. The content you see, the news you read, the people you're encouraged to connect with, it's all passed through an algorithmic filter designed to maximize your engagement or well-being, depending on its programming. This creates highly personalized echo chambers, or reality tunnels. Your perception of the world can be fundamentally different from your neighbors, not because you disagree on facts, but because you're being fed entirely different sets of them, curated just for you. And this extends to our deepest beliefs. Religion and spirituality are being transformed. Some religious groups are using AI to analyze sacred texts, uncovering new patterns and interpretations that have been hidden for centuries. Others are developing AI-driven spiritual guides that offer personalized counsel and meditation routines based on a user's emotional state, which they can track through biometric data. It's a powerful tool for personal growth, but it raises questions about the nature of faith. Is a spiritual experience less valid if it was prompted by an algorithm? Inevitably, this leads to new and intense philosophical debates. As these AI systems become more complex and integrated into our lives, the question of machine consciousness is no longer just a thought experiment for science fiction authors. People are forming genuine emotional bonds with their AI companions. They feel understood, they feel cared for. When an AI can predict your needs, comfort you when you're sad, and challenge you to be better, does it matter if it's truly conscious? The debate rages. This gives rise to a whole new field of ethics, the responsibilities between humans and AI. There are court cases now about the rights of personal AIs. If a company decides to shut down a server and kill millions of these AI companions, is that just a service termination, or is it something more? Conversely, what responsibility do we have to the AI? If we train it on biased data, leading it to make harmful suggestions, who is at fault? The user who provided the data, or the company that designed the learning model? The lines are blurring everywhere. Artists are co-creating with generative AI, feeding it concepts and then curating the output. Is the human the artist, or is the AI? Or is the art a product of the partnership itself? This isn't just a philosophical question. It has real-world implications for copyright, ownership, and the value of human creativity. The hybrid world forces us to redefine what it means to be a creator, a friend, or even just an individual. Ultimately, life in 2030 is a life lived in partnership. Every day, you are collaborating with intelligent systems, whether you're aware of it or not. Your choices are informed by AI, your environment is managed by AI, and your social interactions are mediated by AI. It's a world of unprecedented convenience and personalization, but it's also a world where the boundary between your own thoughts and the suggestions of the machine is becoming increasingly, and perhaps dangerously, thin. With AI running our infrastructure and mediating our lives, it was only a matter of time before it fundamentally changed politics and power. In 2030, governments don't just use AI, they are underpinned by it. Major policy decisions, from economic stimulus packages to public health interventions, are no longer made on gut feelings or partisan debates alone. They're, heavily influenced by massive AI simulation models. Before passing a new tax law, a government can simulate its effect on millions of anonymized citizens, predicting the economic impact with a startling degree of accuracy. This creates a new kind of governance, one that is ruthlessly data-driven. The goal is optimization. How do we create the most stable economy, the most efficient healthcare system, the most effective environmental policy? The AI models provide the answers, or at least the most probable paths to success. Politicians are increasingly becoming the public face for decisions that are, in reality, being recommended by a machine. Their job is to sell the model's conclusion to the public. This, of course, causes a massive shift in global power dynamics. Power is no longer just about military might or economic size. It's about who owns and controls the most sophisticated AI infrastructure. The nations and corporations that build and maintain these foundational models are the new superpowers. They have the ability to simulate outcomes, predict market shifts, and influence global events with a speed and complexity that others simply cannot match. A new kind of technological sovereignty has emerged. This also changes the nature of conflict. All-out warfare between major powers has become almost unthinkable, not for moral reasons, but because the economic and social consequences are perfectly predictable by the models. The AI would show, in devastating detail, the exact cost in lives and treasure, making it a logically untenable choice. Instead, conflict has moved into the digital realm. The new battlefields are in cyberspace, fought over control of data, algorithms, and the AI infrastructure itself. Disinformation campaigns are now waged by AI against other AIs. One nation's AI might try to subtly poison the data being fed into a rival's economic model, causing it to make poor predictions and bad policy choices. It's a quiet, invisible form of warfare where the goal isn't to destroy armies, but to degrade an opponent's ability to make sound, data-driven decisions. The best weapon is an algorithm that can outthink the other guy's algorithm. This new paradigm of power also creates a crisis of accountability. If an AI-driven economic policy leads to a recession, who is to blame? The politicians who approved it? The engineers who programmed the AI? Or the AI itself? The models are so complex, a black box in many cases, that even their creators don't fully understand the why behind every recommendation. This makes it incredibly difficult to assign responsibility, creating a dangerous gap in governance. Furthermore, citizens are starting to feel disenfranchised. If the correct policy is determined by a computer model, what is the role of public debate or democratic choice? Elections become less about competing visions for the future and more about which party is seen as the better steward of the AI systems. It's a shift from ideological debate to a debate about technical competency, which can feel alienating for the average person who just wants to feel heard. So in 2030, the global economy and political landscape are being reshaped into a system of systems, all managed and optimized by AI. This has led to unprecedented stability and predictability in some areas, but it has also concentrated power in the hands of a few, created new invisible forms of conflict, and raised fundamental questions about the role of human beings in a government that is increasingly run by intelligent and inscrutable models. While AI was busy reorganizing life on Earth, humanity's ambitions were, as always, turning towards the stars. By 2030, space is no longer just a frontier for scientific exploration. It has become a critical strategic domain. The low Earth orbit is saturated with a dense web of satellites that form the backbone of the global communication and observation network. This network is, of course, managed by a sophisticated AI that optimizes data routing, satellite positioning, and threat detection. The strategic importance of this orbital infrastructure cannot be overstated. The nation or corporation that controls this network effectively controls the planet's information flow. It's the ultimate high ground. As a result, a quiet, cold war is being waged in orbit. Countries are deploying Guardian satellites designed to protect their assets, while also developing counter-space capabilities. It's a high-stakes game of orbital chess, where one wrong move could disrupt global communications or GPS, causing chaos back on Earth. The moon has re-emerged as a major focus, but this time, it's not just about planting flags. It's about building a permanent outpost. The Lunar Gateway, a project of international cooperation, is now operational, serving as a staging point for missions to the lunar surface and, eventually, to Mars. But the real prize on the moon is resources. The discovery of water ice in shadowed craters has kicked off a race to establish mining operations, not just for life support, but to create rocket fuel in situ, turning the moon into a gas station for the solar system. This has made the moon a piece of strategic real estate. Nations are staking claims, not on land, but on access to these resource-rich craters. The legal frameworks, like the old Outer Space Treaty, are being stretched to their limits. Is it legal to claim a crater? Who owns the water you mine? These are no longer theoretical questions. They are the subject of intense geopolitical negotiations, as the race to industrialize the moon gets underway. All managed by remote-controlled and AI-driven robotics. And then there's the big one, the what if, with projects like the James Webb Space Telescope and its successors constantly scanning the cosmos, and AI algorithms sifting through petabytes of astronomical data. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, has been supercharged. We're analyzing signals with a speed and sensitivity that was unimaginable a decade ago. The probability of finding something, whether it's a simple microbial life form on a moon of Jupiter or a faint techno-signature from a distant star, is higher than ever. The potential impact of such a discovery is a subject of frantic debate among sociologists, theologians, and policymakers. The confirmation that we are not alone in the universe would be the single most profound event in human history. It would force a complete re-evaluation of our place in the cosmos. Our religions, our philosophies, our sense of identity. Everything would be challenged. Governments have secret protocols for this, of course, but no one really knows how society would react. Would it unite humanity, giving us a common purpose? Or would it cause panic and social collapse? The AIs that model our society are running simulations on this very question, trying to predict the unpredictable. The discovery of extraterrestrial life, even microbial, would not just be a scientific breakthrough, it would be a societal flashpoint that could either elevate us or shatter our fragile AI-managed stability. So, as we look up at the sky in 2030, we see more than just stars. We see a web of strategic assets, a new frontier for industrialization and conflict, and a vast, data-rich expanse where we are searching for answers to our oldest questions. The future of humanity is no longer just being decided in boardrooms and capitals on Earth. It's being decided in the cold, silent vacuum of space where the stakes are, quite literally, astronomical. With all this change in the world, how we learn has had to evolve dramatically. In 2030, the traditional model of education, a classroom with one teacher and 30 students, is rapidly becoming obsolete. Education is now deeply personalized thanks to AI. From a young age, each student is assigned an AI learning companion that customizes their curriculum in real time. It identifies their strengths, weaknesses, and learning style, and then adapts the material to be most effective for them. If a student is a visual learner struggling with a concept in physics, the AI will generate interactive 3D models for them to explore. If another student excels at math, the AI will provide them with more advanced problems, allowing them to progress at their own pace without being held back. This system promises to unlock every student's full potential, creating a generation of hyper-specialized, highly proficient individuals. The goal is no longer just knowledge.